how does this play out in 2020? I guess this is all coming down to an election, and then what happens in that election? Like, is it about Trump winning or losing, and is that going to solve the problem or not? What do you see?
Well, I believe that one of the reasons we're seeing all this chaos, including the coronavirus pandemic response, is I believe the left likes the idea of chaos because they feel the average independent voter is going to look at all this stuff and say, I just wanted to go away. I just wanted to calm down. And Joe Biden strikes me as a calmer guy than Donald Trump. So I'm going to pull the lever for him. That's what I think the left wants, but I don't think they're going to get it. Because if you look at what Donald Trump has done, just take the black community, for example. Before the coronavirus pandemic shut down, lowest unemployment for blacks in history. I mean, in history. And you had all these left-wing people like Paul Krugman. He's the economist who writes a column for the New York Times. He probably is the most influential economist in the country. And he said if Donald Trump got elected, the stock market was going to crash. We were going to have a depression. Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, who's also a star of Shark Tank, said the same thing. They were wrong. And Donald Trump wants choice in school, which, as I said, urban parents, black and brown parents, the polls show want. White Democrats do not want. And Donald Trump wants to give urban parents an option so the kid doesn't go to a school where only 3% of kids can do math at grade level. Donald Trump is doing something about illegal immigration. There's an economist named George Borjas. He's probably done more work on the impact of legal and illegal immigration than any other economist. And he says illegal immigration gives us winners and losers. The obvious winners are the illegals themselves and employers who hire them at lower wages than they otherwise would pay. But the big loser are unskilled black and brown workers living in the inner city. He said the unskilled illegal aliens pose competition for jobs that would otherwise be held by unskilled black and brown Americans, and they put downward pressure on their wages. Donald Trump is doing something about that, and the Democratic Party is the party of a pathway to citizenship and porous borders. Donald Trump has also increased spending on historically black colleges to a funding level that's been higher, never been any higher. He pardoned Jack Johnson for crying out loud. That's the first black heavyweight champion who was convicted of violating the Mann Act, which was a law that was designed to punish people for transporting women across state lines for illicit purposes. He had a bunch of white girlfriends, and the cops were after him just because of that. And even Obama didn't pardon him. Donald Trump signed the First Step Act, which has allowed so far 3,000 mostly black men who've been busted for crack cocaine and given mandatory long sentences to have their sentences reconsidered. And the average person has had his sentence reconsidered by an average of 70 months lower. And 2,000 people have been set free altogether because of Trump signing the First Step Act. Even Van Jones, who's a critic of Trump, was in the Oval Office when that act was signed and praised it. Now, talk about criminal justice reform. Obama didn't do that. They talk a lot of stuff about how many black people were convicted because of crack cocaine, and the sentences for crack and powder were leveled during the Obama administration. But he didn't go anywhere near what Trump did in terms of having them have their sentences reconsidered and 2,000 of them being released outright. So low unemployment, First Step Act, more money for historically black colleges, doing something about illegal immigration. Pardon Jack Johnson, pardon Alice Johnson. She was a woman convicted of a nonviolent drug offense, given a very long sentence. Her sentence was also commuted. And this is a racist? If this is racism, dude needs to go back to racism school.